thing. The last thing that I wanted to get into for the next 10 minutes or so, I came across this group on Reddit called Am I the Asshole? And it's very entertaining. And I have to shout out the podcast Two Hot Takes. These girls that do a podcast where they're reacting to Reddit posts. And I've started to do a little bit of that. I've never done an Am I the Asshole reaction, but this is the first one. And so I would like to read an Am I the Asshole post and then see what happens. So let's get into it for the last few minutes or so. So am I the asshole? This is the post from Reddit. Am I the asshole for literally being the cause of my brother canceling his wedding because I couldn't get over the fact that it was child-free? Am I the asshole for literally being the cause of my brother canceling his wedding because I couldn't get over the fact it was child-free? So that's the question. This is the description. This had about like 6,000 upvotes, so it was a lot. It said, I, 17 female, originally was meant to be a bridesmaid at my brother's 25 male wedding in 2020, but they canceled when my sister found out she was pregnant. There was no talk of a wedding until 2 weeks ago when they surprised us by saying they were legally married, but will have an official wedding with my sister-in-law found out she was pregnant. Sorry. I was like, what does SIL mean? Let me start over. I, 17 female, originally was meant to be a bridesmaid at my brother's 25 male wedding in 2020, but they canceled when my sister-in-law found out she was pregnant. There was no talk of a wedding until 2 weeks ago when they surprised us by saying they were legally married but will have an official wedding with family and friends at the sister-in-law's mansion to save money for the honeymoon. I was excited even though sister-in-law was going to ask me to be the maid of honor when she and my sister asked me to talk alone. Well, no, I wasn't maid of honor or even invited. Apparently, the aunt said kids weren't allowed at her mansion, but she'd allow my sister's daughter, flower girl, and my brother's baby to be at the ceremony for 20 minutes so they could take pictures. Then they had to leave or she'd shut down the wedding. They explained since it's child-free wedding and I was technically a child, LOL, I wouldn't be allowed to attend anyway. So they decided I'd babysit along with the bride's 16-year-old cousin. A total of 9 kids is a way of being involved in the wedding without being there. My sister-in-law had the balls to tell me she'd even count it as a wedding gift if I could take a few days off school to babysit while she's on honeymoon. I honestly couldn't speak due to shock till my sister suggested I should take the kids overnight because they'd all be hungover the next day. I screamed, no, no, no. I'm not your nanny. Don't ask me to ever babysit again. Ever fuck you and your kids. No, 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 I'm not your nanny. Don't ever ask me to babysit again. Ever fuck you and your kids, before I busted out crying. My parents came into the room demanding to know what happened, so I told them and they were pissed. My dad said I wasn't their slave, and he was sick of them treating me as such. My mom said even if the attempt to pressure me in any way to babysit again, they wouldn't pay anything towards the wedding. We all got into a massive fight. My brother told my parents not to go to the wedding, and my sister claimed I was the favorite, so she isn't on speaking terms with them either. The wedding ended up being canceled because the other girl wouldn't babysit alone, so no childcare, and they were counting on the money from my parents for multiple things. My brother texted me today saying, I hope you're happy, you little bitch. This is all your fault. You ruined my wedding all because you couldn't accept it was child-free. You're pathetic. My sister texted me similar stuff all day, blaming me for being petty. And if anyone is wondering, my siblings are twins. As for my bad grammar, all I can say is sorry. So there's a lot of shit there. It sounds like this girl was asked to babysit at a child-free wedding. I've never fucking heard of that, but apparently that's a thing. Like gluten-free. Now people are having child-free weddings. And so the sister was asked to babysit. Also, she's 17. So if this was a year ago, she's 16. You're not a child if you're 17. I know people throw that word around where they'll be like, oh my God, she's 16. Like, she's the child. Like, no, you're a child when you're 5. If you can support yourself, in theory, which you can at 16 years old. There are many people that do it. You're not a fucking child. You can literally emancipate yourself from your parents and go get a job and never see them again. You're not a child at 16 years old. So that's bullshit that she wasn't allowed to attend a child-free wedding. I would think they would make a clear cutoff for that and say, 10 or under or 5 or under. Like even 13 would be close for me. I'd be like 13-year-olds. If I was having a child-free wedding, which I wouldn't, I would say, yeah, 13 and above, at least you can come. Like fucking 16 and you couldn't go for a child-free wedding. So, I mean, I'm trying to imagine if my brother, because this is the only way that I can give a good answer, is if I relate this to myself. So if my brother told me he was getting married and I was 16 years old or 17 years old, whatever, and my brother said to me, hey, this is a child-free wedding. You're not allowed because you're a child and you're 17, but we want you to babysit the 9 kids. Because that was the proposal. Her sister-in-law, and it was her brother's wedding too. So if my brother came up to me and said, hey, we're having a child-free wedding, you're 17 years old, you cannot go to this wedding. Also, it's not that you just can't go to this wedding, you're also going to babysit the 9 other children, which you are, while the wedding is going on. And then, because we're going to be so fucking hungover, we would really appreciate if you could give us the gift of then watching the kids for another 3 days after the honeymoon. I think I would cock slap my brother across the face. I would have to get really close to do that because my cock's not that big. So I would get 2.7 inches away and I would cock slap my brother across the jaw. And after that, I'd probably knock him out, and I'd hack into his bank account. I'd go into his investment account, his Fidelity account, transfer all of the funds from his account to my account, everything he had, his whole net worth, and I would lock my brother and everyone in the wedding party in a room. And dress them all up as children. So when they awoke in this room, like a penitentiary room, an insane asylum room, it would just be everyone in the wedding dressed as children. And they wake up from a daze. They were drugged, and I drugged them all, and they passed out, and they're like just waking up. Their eyes are opening, and they're like, what's going on? And it's a Saw situation. They see Jigsaw come on the screen. And he says, hello, children. This is an escape room. You have 1 hour to escape from this room. And there's a book in the room, and you have to read the fairy tale. It's a children's book, and instead of the actual acts in the book, like Dr. Seuss, like Green Eggs and Ham, instead of the actual things in the book that really were written, there's going to be a replacement. And it's going to say these horrendous acts you have to commit on certain people. And you have to do it as you're reading along the book. And if you don't do it, one person will die every minute until there's no one left in the room. And they are all dressed as kids. They're all dressed as children. They're in the safe room. They can only escape by basically chopping off each other's legs. And I will fund all of this by taking money from my brother's investment account and Bitcoin account and putting it into my own account. And then I'll come on the screen as there's only my brother's left. Everyone else is dead. My brother's gone through the entire book and just slaughtered everyone in the family mercilessly. And my brother, and I look on the screen and I'm talking to my brother, and he goes, Zach, Was this you? What, like, are you behind all of this? Like, how could you do this to me? Like, how could you do this to everyone? Like, what are you doing? Like, how could you do this? And I'll say to my brother, I'll look at him right in the face and I'll go, you can't hold me responsible for my actions. I'm a child. Remember? And then, and then something will happen and lop my brother's head off, and then I'll go buy like a Tesla or something with the Bitcoin. But no, I mean, obviously that's an extreme reaction, and never do anything like that. But I mean, it's funny to think about that this, the brother and this sister-in-law are calling the 17-year-old a fucking child, and then they're asking her to babysit on top of that and be like, by the way, can you watch all these children that aren't allowed to go to the wedding? And I would definitely, being realistically, I would say no. Like, that's fine. Even if it was my brother, I would say it's your wedding still. You're perfectly within your rights to not have me go to the wedding. No matter how fucked up that is, it's still your wedding. And I'll love you as a brother, but I am not going to babysit your fucking kids. Like, go fuck yourself. And I'm not babysitting for your honeymoon. Unless he gave me like $30,000. If my brother spent the same amount of money on the wedding as he did for my babysitting fees, I would say 100%, of course. I'll make sure all the kids live. Just give me the money and I'll see you guys later. That'll be fine because I'd be getting something in return. But it sounds like this sister was just like, by the way, you're not invited. You're a child. Can you babysit all the kids? And also, can you watch them for our honeymoon while me and your brother go off on this honeymoon and fuck each other's brains out until we realize that we actually didn't really want to marry each other in the first place, and now the honeymoon is kind of over and reality is setting in, and I didn't have my sister at my wedding because I confused a 17-year-old with a child. So that is my take on that. If you guys enjoyed this episode, share it with someone. Go follow us on @Xoro on TikTok, on Instagram, on YouTube. YouTube is probably the best place because that's where we post the full podcast and the clips. If you want bonus solo episodes and also bonus episode deep dives on various topics, again, like MK Ultra, like the COVID lab leak, like Tom Cruise. I did one on the rise of Tim Dillon. I did the Tuskegee syphilis experiment. I just did one on Athlete A with Larry Nassar that's coming out. Those are only available. Some of those will be released as bonus episodes. So once per month, there's a 2-hour bonus episode release on a different topic every month. And that will only be behind the paywall. So I have one episode that's public, that's a 2-hour deep dive, and one episode that's only behind the paywall on Xoro Premium, that's a 2-hour deep dive. So if you would like 2 episodes per month, if you'd like an extra one, you can sign up at Xoro Premium today. I also post bonus solo episodes, so I switch off how I do that. I do 1 solo episode public, 1 solo episode premium. That's also once per month for each. And it's about 3 hours content, 3 hours of new exclusive content per month on Xoro Premium. It's $2 per month when you sign up for the year. This is the best deal in podcasting, folks. $2 per month, $3 if you sign up per month, but $2 if you sign up for the year. It's $24 per year for 3 hours of new exclusive podcast content found nowhere else. This is not, sometimes people on Patreon will just put like these short videos or clips that are just like kind of bullshit extra bonus videos. These are full podcasts, just like the one you're listening to here, and also the other ones on the aux, like full 1 to 2 hour deep dives on topics for $2 per month when you sign up for the year. Go check it out at xoro.supercast.tech. Again, that's xoro.supercast.tech. Link in the description. Thank you, and I'll see you guys next time.